All right, so now let's look at screws and wedges, which this is the last of the 6 different simple machines. So when we look at a screw, well, what a screw actually is, what I have here, this is an inclined plane. I still have it on my board back there from the last set of notes. So here's the inclined plane. If I take this inclined plane, the whole idea, remember, was to make it easier to get up to the top. Well, if I take this inclined plane and I take it and I wrap it around a cylinder, so I do this. Now what you should notice, if I turn it towards the thing, you can see it. What I actually have is, here's the bottom of the inclined plane, and it happens to go around here and goes all the way up. So it's really still the inclined plane, but it's wrapped around a cylinder and goes up and up and up. What's that? That's a screw. All right, so a screw, and if you ever get a chance to take a screw and take a screw and put your fingernail on it and then like twist it, what you'll find is if you keep your fingernail on the threads and you twist it, next thing you'll know, your fingernail will come all the way up to the top. And then if you twist it the other way, your fingernail will go all the way down to the bottom. And really all you're doing is you're just taking your fingernail and sticking it on an inclined plane and doing this and following it down all the way till you get to the bottom. But it's going in a circle, all right? So if we extend that inclined plane out over a longer distance, then we get a greater mechanical advantage. For those of you that have done stuff that involves threads, those are called fine threads, and fine threads are a lot less of an incline. They have a greater mechanical advantage. Makes it so that you can tighten things down a whole lot tighter. If you have coarse threads, then it's a really steep incline. You don't have as much mechanical advantage, but the screws go in a whole lot faster. So, all right, a wedge. A wedge is this. If I take 2 of these and I do this, all right, this I could use to put into a log, right, and then I pound it down. What's it going to do to the log? Split it apart. Right. We also have wedges that we put underneath the doors. So we have these where you put the door and you slide them up underneath the door and it holds the door open. Right. These things are really just an inclined plane. The one thing that's different, think of the idea that when we talked about the inclined plane, the ones that were in the hallway, what's moving in order to go up the inclined plane? You are. Right. You go up the inclined plane. Now if you take a wedge and you take the door, you end up holding the door and then you kick this thing underneath. So what's moving in this case? It's the inclined plane, and the object stays in one place. Right? That's kind of a way to tell the difference between a wedge versus an inclined plane. A wedge, it's the wedge, the inclined plane is moving. In the inclined plane, it's the objects that are climbing up the inclined plane. So it's an inclined plane with 1 or 2 sloping surfaces. So here's 1 sloping surface, or we can have 2 sloping surfaces, all right, which was like my idea using to split a piece of wood. Examples: nail, cheese wedge, knife, axle. Oh, a knife. Knife, actually, what it is we actually have this thing where if the knife is this wide, okay, and then we like extend this thing down, if it goes down like that, all right, it comes down to a little point. Right? What we really have is we have this double inclined plane. Now if I were to make this knife narrower, so it's only this narrow, and I make it as long, what I end up with is a really long inclined plane that doesn't go up very much. So this one turns out to be a whole lot sharper. This would be like a razor that you'd use to shave with. Right? They have a really low inclined plane, and therefore they end up a whole lot sharper. This one over here, this would be like a butter knife, like you have at the table, right? That you use to like get your butter to put on your bread. They're not very sharp, right? They have a really high inclined plane, so they're not made for being sharp. They're just made for being able to scoop something like butter that's really, really soft. So, how is wedge different from an inclined plane? I already described that. So that really finishes our notes. That finishes our notes on the 6 simple machines. All right, so ultimately we're going to look into some things that go along with this, but I will talk to you later. See you.